So what you have here is a silver G90. So this one's silver with the dark colored interior. And as you can see, I mean, this thing, it looks like they've pushed Hyundai to the point BMW used to be with the 745. But I will say that their interiors are actually in many cases nicer than what you find in BMWs. Because I'll tell you, one problem I have, BMW's interiors look very bland. I don't care what the materials are. There was only one that's impressed me thus far, and it was the cognac leather in the BMW 7 Series. And the funny thing about BMW is BMW designs its cars from the bottom up, where they start with the 3 Series and then they just make them larger. Mercedes pretty much designs their cars with the S-class in mind, and then they work their way downwards. So it's like two different design philosophies, but what they do is they have the same sausage, different length philosophy, where basically you're getting almost the same prestige, you're getting the same vehicle, it's just different sizes. And now that you factor crossovers into the mix, and you have Mercedes, which has like damn near several different crossovers based on, you know, cars that are smaller, and BMW does the exact same thing, you know, what you end up with is a lot of variety. And variety is a good thing because a lot of people don't want cars anymore. A lot of people want crossovers. In fact, wait, let me soft close it. That's pretty freaking cool. It's amazing that like all the stuff that you normally know from Mercedes and BMW is available on Hyundais. It's just absolutely astounding. To let you know, this is the 3.3 turbo H-track. This has a power open trunk, just like the other car. Gigantic trunk, pretty spacious. You can fit just about anything that you need to fit in there. And they all pretty much come with what is it called? This one does not have the spare tire. Or wait, no, actually maybe it does. Oh, and it's just under this. Yeah. Very nice, very nice. Because a lot of cars aren't giving you spare tires because they don't think that you're going to use it anyway. They think that you're just going to call somebody and then you're going to pay top dollar to get a brand new rim if your wheel is busted. And this is the Genesis booklet. I remember when the 8 Hyundai Equus used to give you, what's it called? They used to give you iPads. Now they give you this, what looks like a Bible. The Book of Genesis. So this is the G90. Let me turn this radio down because, as you know, I can't get music that's copyrighted. And now let's turn it on. Yeah, there ain't no rev in these things. Let's turn down the window and listen to it. Let's listen to it. Ooh, listen to that Hellcat power. Listen to that. All of these twin turbo V6s, basically, they're just adequate. They do their job, but that's all they do. They do their job. And that's ultimately, I mean, you know, you can get this with a V8, which, you know, I have to say right off the bat, which is something that, you know, Cadillac should have known, that you should be able to get these things with V8. So I turn on my heat seat, turn it down to 1, because I don't want it too hot. You've got camera views when you push this. Got camera views available. Oh. Mm-hmm. As you can tell from what you hear, the Genesis V6 engine in the G90 is 3.3 liters, twin turbocharged. It creates about 380 horsepower. Actually creates more than that, but it depends, you know, how high your rev range is at the time. But overall, the engine pretty much sounds almost identical to the engine in my Genesis H-track that I got on lease. The car itself sells itself in being a very large, plush-feeling luxury car. I have complained not so much that it feels a little bit generic. as if they decided that they were going to simply benchmark other cars in the class and build a car based on the benchmarks rather than swing for the fences and build their own car. But I have to say, the reason why this car is so awesome and the reason why it's important is because this car represents the nation of South Korea. This is going to be their state car. Rather than having to lease Mercedes S-classes and turn them into guard editions in order to carry around their diplomats, this car is going to be the flagship of South Korea. And now you here in America can grab it for the low cost of $72,000 fully equipped for the V6 with all-wheel drive. I really like the drive of this car better than I like my Genesis H-Track's drive. The Genesis's wheel feels a little disconnected from the road, and the steering doesn't always feel that great. Other than that, they're both fantastic cars. And there's also the G90 in case you don't want to spend this much money. The professional reviews on YouTube, for instance, that I haven't actually watched yet, will pretty much say that the Genesis is a slam dunk. They'll say that this car is 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5 stars. What you can expect is that anyone who speaks about the G90 or even the G80 will most likely say that what they did feel was that the car does feel generic and that it feels like it's trying to compete in a arena that it can't compete in. What I can say is that it's a very large, very comfortable car, but the biggest problem with this car is going to be its price tag. It's not going to be its engines because, fortunately, this car comes with turbocharged V6, or it can come with a regular V8 TOR engine, they call it, with the H-Track all-wheel drive system. The problem isn't going to be its power output. Nobody is racing cars this large. Nobody's doing that. This isn't Dubai. This is America. But what's ultimately the problem with this car is its not its size, but its name equity, its badge. Hyundai has done their best to try to distance Genesis away from Hyundai, because the problem is Hyundai has always been a consumer car manufacturer, and just like Toyota distanced Lexus from itself by calling them luxury exports to the US, which is LEX-US, luxury exports to the US, Hyundai felt that they needed to distance Genesis from the economy car section. When you go to some of these Hyundai dealerships, they look fantastic. They've got like damn near movie theaters. Like the one that I've gone to for service, they have like, it looks like a massive big screen TV. They've got great seats. They want to give you a concierge service so that you understand the reason why you spent that extra to stick with the badge name Hyundai. Now, Mercedes doesn't give you shit. The Lexus in Lynbrook, they got a nail salon and they got a hair salon for the women because they know there's a lot of women buying their crossovers, the RX series crossover. But Mercedes doesn't give you anything. They tell you, listen, you can either take it or leave it, but this is Mercedes, so you're going to bend to our will. BMW, they give you a little bit more, but Mercedes knows they don't have to give you any deals. Part of the question is, well, what is luxury? I would say that luxury is having a car that's exclusive. It's a car that stands out. It's something that when people see you in it, they know that you're wealthy. They know you can afford it. They know you got money. Now, there's a lot of people able to buy cars that are luxury cars, quote unquote luxury cars, because of, credit, and they lease them and this, that, and other. But when you're rolling around in a car that's this expensive, that badge starts to take on a whole meaning of its own. The Mercedes badge, nobody's ever going to question it. Some people could say, oh yeah, well, the reliability is not that great. The thing about it is either you can afford one of them things or you can't. Lamborghini didn't have great reliability, but guess what? Not everybody could buy a Lamborghini because you just couldn't do it. And that's where this badge equity comes from. Now, most people will say, well, it's stupid to worry about what other people think about you. You should just worry about being comfortable. And to that, I can agree. And in that vein, if you're able to look past the fact that Hyundai's been an economy car manufacturer for all these years, if you're able to look past all that and say, you know what, I'm going to buy this car for me, and I love it, and I love the way it looks, and I'm buying it because it's big and spacious, and because it's got a powerful engine, it's because it's got all-wheel drive, it checks all the boxes. If you're willing to do that, then congratulations. Go after it, buy one. This car is going to cost you about $1,000 a month, which is basically what I pay for my Hellcat or my Jeep SRT. And the insurance is low because it's not a performance car. Go for it. To put the car in park, you have to actually push park. There is R, N, and D, but that is park, just to let you know. And then you push your camera view, Your camera view can stay on, parking sensors, drive mode. And that's what the car pretty much looks like. Nice, solid, smooth drive. It's pretty cool. Like, you can actually see the speed code. See, I wish, well, you know, in time, all these cars are going to have stuff like that. Like, because their safety is, like, the biggest thing. Because people keep running over their kids. You know?
What?
Yeah, because that's one of the reasons why you see all these backup auto stops.
Somebody ran up over to the kid?
Volvos. The reason why Volvos, like, they have those backup cameras is to make sure that you don't hit a kid in your blind spot.
Oh my goodness.
Because there's people who run their kids over backing something out of their yard. And the thing about it is, it's these sensors, that's what they're for. They're for kids. They're not really, they help with the what is it called? They help with the parking. Mm-hmm. But these things are for children. It's like,
wow.
It's all to make sure that, like, your kids are safe when you're in the yard. You know?
Wow.
As I stated already when I talked about the interior of this car in the last clip that I made, wherever you look, it feels like the Genesis is a premium product. A lot of people will look at these cars and they won't know whether or not they should take a chance on them because they don't know the long-term reliability. But I've had an Azero on lease and now a Genesis H-Track, and I have to say that I hadn't had a single problem with either of the cars. So I have grown a trust of Hyundai's reliability at this point. When you look around, no matter how close you look at things, it seems that every single thing is accounted for. The cut, fit, and finish looks great. It makes you feel like you're in something way more expensive. And they didn't go cheap in places where you are likely to see it. And then the deeper you dig, the more you realize that they didn't go cheap at all. Yes, this is a $72,000 Hyundai. And they don't want to call it a Hyundai. They want to call it a Genesis. But I have to say, they have stepped up their game so much that they deserve to be placed on equal footing with Lexus. You don't hear a damn thing. It's very, very ridiculously quiet. But I have to say, the size of that car, it's substantial. It's a very, very big, spacious car. And that's exactly what Cadillac and Lincoln should have been building in the first place. But the problem is, they just don't reach. This thing looks a lot like a Jaguar in many ways, if you really think about it. Why can't Lincoln and Cadillac, and I will say Cadillac did it, but why can't they reach that high? Why can't they be building that car? Why can't they be building the Equus and the K900 with those optional V8s? It's like they're not even trying anymore.